morning. Happy Wednesday. So I've been trying out this new feature. Not on the phone, but I'll get to the phone in just a minute. You know, about waiting, let videos sit there scheduled instead of just hitting public right away to see if it gets in the algorithm better. I don't think it makes a difference, but maybe again, not done it long enough. And I know y'all don't really care. All right, it's Wednesday. It's October 29th. And it is 45 degrees. I looked before I came, so I wouldn't have to look again. And it's 7:50. And it's cloudy. It's been raining most of the week. It didn't rain yesterday, though, so I guess it's not most of the week. Anyway, it rained Monday. And no, we didn't have any of those torrential downpours that someone else said he had. You know, I tried to find out how much rain they had, and it didn't look like it was anything major. I mean, and I thought it was kind of insensitive because he knew what was going to be happening in Jamaica, and if he didn't, he needs to know. Anyway, so my old phone here has its little music going, and I've got to cut it off because it's that music that wakes you up and it gets louder as time goes on, and it's getting ready to get there. Yep, it's getting ready to get louder. So I'm going to have to cut it off real quick, but I'm going to cut y'all off because y'all don't really want to watch it, do you? I don't blame you. I wouldn't either. Y'all know where the sound is actually coming from. It's coming from my watch. I thought, this phone is not even on. So how is it from this phone? But it started this. I thought it was this phone coming on. But y'all, I need a brain, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. I'll put it back in the box, the old phone. And because I'm trying to decide, do I want to sell it or keep it? All right. That's right. I didn't have to turn it in. No. I saved my money. All right. I'm not going to sell it because I need it as a backup, just in case. All right. We're going to put them keys right there so we won't lock them in here. All right, we got some notes here today. And yes, I printed them on my home printer, just in case anybody cares. All right, so Sarasota Tim was at Bald Ridge Creek, the camping ground, whatever. And, you know, he says he's leaving at the end of the week or in a few days, I think is exactly what he says. And of course, he gets way into too much TMI stuff. And I'm like, do you really think that that's going to get you views? I mean, and I'm not going to say it might not get some views, but it wouldn't be the views that I particularly would want. I guess I need to cut the lights out. All right. And then he talks about Lisa's spaghetti. And it's the best spaghetti in the world. And he discovered thin spaghetti. I think that's pretty much all I've ever bought is thin spaghetti when I fixed it. Who knew Tim didn't know about thin spaghetti? All right. Tim's looking forward to the warmer weather in Florida. And, you know, all that good stuff. He doesn't even mention about all the rain they've had in Florida and some areas being really flooded. No, he knows that they've got a little bit of rain, but he's not, you know, doesn't concern him because he's not down there. Now, if he was down there, it would be the most, you know, him and Tater, it's always the worst rain ever. You know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, come on, people. All right. He tells this story about just when he came, the campground changed their rules. And there's no refunds if you leave early. That happened just when he did, and he talked to the really nice lady at the office, and she eventually will refund him. Or he says she refunded him right then, but he's not left yet. Or is he filming ahead of time? I don't know. All right. Now this morning, this was the Monday, I guess, that they filmed this. Or Tuesday. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't talk about him yesterday because I didn't put up no video. Now, well, I put up a video, but it was behind. Yes, I'm filming behind now. I'm kind of, as I said in the other video, I'm doing something a little different, but I'm about to get over it. All right, so we're going to move on and talk about somebody else, because that's about all I got to say about him. You know, he said he and Eddie ate 3 bowls of spaghetti, and he's not, on carnivore. I thought the other day he was going back on carnivore. And then today he's going back on carnivore. All I can say is that, no, I'm not eating the best in the world that I've ever eaten right now. But I'm not going to say I'm going to get back on the wagon today. I'm going to try, but I don't know that I will. The only reason I say I'm not going to is that there is something special coming up for me. So I don't know what's going to happen. I may decide to take myself to some fancy restaurant, and I might want to eat something more than a steak. What is it? I looked yesterday about going to Village Tavern in Winston. I hadn't been there in ages. And Village Tavern it's now a chain. They've franchised out, but it started in Winston-Salem. Why is that? I'm locking the door. I forgot to lock it. Sorry. That light, I don't know what the deal is with it. I guess if I touch something, it comes on. Yep, that's what it is. I've had this truck forever and didn't know that. I look in the videos and I'll see that light on. I'll think, why is that light on? Now I know. All right. Now, we're going to talk about Amanda. Amanda is Adventures of Van Life Amanda. I'll put her correct name, Adventuring with Amanda. I'll put her correct name up here. Now, I have this love-hate relationship with her. Not really hate. It's just sometimes I can't watch her. She's too boring. And sometimes she kind of just, I don't know. I guess she gets on my nerves. I don't think she's a bad person. I think she's a good person and all that good stuff. I don't think she's on YouTube just to make money. I think she probably has a little income from some way. I don't know. Anyway. So, errands and stay and put Amanda enjoys a few days of stay and put at her campsite before heading to town for errands. And she's going to Walmart and Harbor Freight. And her friends are there with her, her girlfriends. And, her and Aussie Van Man, they have this, I guess, friendship. I don't know what it is. It's not my business. But sometimes they're traveling together and sometimes they're not. Right now, I think they're not. And I don't think it's a matter of getting in an argument or whatever. I just think sometimes they like to separate. And there's nothing wrong with that. And like I say, I don't know if there's a romance there. I don't really think there is, maybe. Maybe they're friends with benefits. I don't know. But you always wonder. But then I wonder about their sexuality. Not that, again, that it's any of my business. But, my friend is texting me right now. I need to quit looking at that. She's making me laugh. All right. Because of something I sent her this morning on TikTok. All right. She likes to cook, and they like to go out and party a little bit. Well, they don't really go out. They go sit outside around the campfire. Now, somewhere along the line, she has a baby tarantula in the camper or the van, and I'm going to get to that another thing about that in a minute. It's not tarantulas. I'm sorry, but I don't care what time of day it is if I find a tarantula in my home, That would be one way to get me to clean out my house. That and a snake. All right. She ends her day by lighting a candle, setting out a pumpkin for ambiance, and watching a basketball game. Have y'all ever done that when you watch a basketball game? I probably need to start doing that when I watch wrestling. I'll put a candle. I don't like candles. I have a candle warmer. And I'll set out a pumpkin or something else. Not really a pumpkin. All right. Then she's planning to go see her mom, and then her sister's coming over in Phoenix. You know, her mom sometimes comes and joins her in camps. Her mom's got a little teardrop camper, I think, now. Her sister lives in Florida. She flies and goes to see her every now and then. So, anyway, y'all probably heard enough of her. All right. Now, there's this new channel that I found because I guess I went up the spider aisle. And now there'll be all these videos coming up about spiders. This lady, I've watched a couple more of her videos, but anyway, Out on a Limb is her name. She lives in a van. And her van becomes full of camel spiders. Now, I'd never heard of a camel spider, but it's those little bitty spiders. I don't know if they bite you. I guess they can. But it's just they multiply into millions. And of course, she's showing all that. I'm like, I don't need to see all that. Anyway, that's another thing that would make me clean my van out. If I had any kind of bug of anything. Of course, she fogs it. And I don't know where she's going to stay while she's fogging it. Or, you know, I think it's like 2 hours. I've had to fog one time when I had an apartment. I had to fog for fleas. It was before I had the cat. Somebody else had fleas. But I had to fog too. So, I mean, I could go back like in 4 hours. But anyway, she says there's a slight smell in there. And that, you know, of course, the next day she vacuums the van to remove any dead pests. But I don't know where she slept. Maybe I missed something. Maybe a friend let her sleep with them. Maybe she got her a hotel room. I don't know. Anyway, maybe she had a tent. It's beyond me. But I think I do like to watch her. Now, maybe it's because I've not been watching her long. But she seems to be more enjoyable to me to watch than some of the other ladies who supposedly, and I say supposedly, live in a van. Now, let's see, what else? Scott of Static Camper Van Man. He's been sick, and I know that probably Blind Views has told you that, if you watch Blind Views. He's been sick, and I know the past couple of weeks he's not put up videos. He's put up ones that for members only, which I am a member of his community. And so he's not been feeling well. He's been to the emergency room, I think, twice. You know, had consultations with his doctor. Now, he don't tell what's really wrong with him. And I don't, you know, I think if he wants to tell it, he can. But I'm assuming and this is just me assuming, it's some kind of, maybe not fibromyalgia, but something along those lines. And, you know, I can only imagine what that's like living in a van. I mean, even though I know he chooses to be there, he doesn't have to be. He chooses to be there. I cannot imagine living with, when I'm really in a flare, living in a van. But you do what you got to do, I guess. And I guess he loves it enough that he's willing to go there, if that's what it is. And I don't know that's what it is. I'm not trying to diagnose him. All right. Do I have anything else to say that's of any value? Probably not. Not that was. That's about all I got to say. I brought me a Quest bar this morning for breakfast. I may be eating too much of them. Maybe that's the problem, that it makes me crave stuff. I don't know. I just know I got off the wagon a couple weeks ago. I can't remember where we were. Oh, the racetrack. I had a hot dog at the racetrack. And I should have not eaten the bun. And just something triggered it, I guess. I don't know. And I always get triggered this time of year of wanting to eat. Just wanting to eat. Then the other day, I had some jalapeno Cheetos. I love them things. If you've never had them, don't. If you like that kind of stuff. Because you start craving them. I know it's something chemically in them that causes you to do that. There's probably nothing real in them. I saw something today about that real food, Whole Foods, don't come with a warning. And that's probably about the truth. So anyway, I'm just letting you know I fell off the wagon. And I got to get back on. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. But for right now, I'm not going to say that I'm going to be, below 20 carbs, 30 carbs. Because I'm probably not. But I have to watch it to make sure I don't start gaining weight back. Anyway, that's about all I got to say today. I do appreciate all of you watching and supporting me. I hope y'all have a great day. And I'll talk to y'all later. Love you. Bye.